Class is now in session for today's topic, which is called nostalgia. My name is Jimmy Khalo, and I will be your sexy gay teacher again for today. I'm really committing to the bit now at this point. Okay, I think I feel strongly about this topic because I, for one, enjoy a little nostalgia in my daily life, whether it's with the music that I listen to or the shows that I watch or as I create. Definitely I get inspired by a lot of things, but at the same time, as a starting artist, I am a musician, if you still don't know. Starting out, I'm creating my first album, but I think there's some positive and some, I wouldn't say negative side to it, but really more some things to be cautious about when it comes to nostalgia. And I do get why people love the element of nostalgia. So I have three ideas. First is that I feel it's one of the most comforting things out there right now in the world with all the, again, turmoil happening across the globe, with the constant deluge of problems that we all face, especially some things that are now common to all of us, like the recession. I'm not sure if it's actually announced already, but it's there. Self esteem issues, just problems in general kind of makes us crave for something that's familiar. And I think nostalgia offers that because it makes us feel safe. And that's my theory because the fact that people just keeps on, consuming content that is a nod to previous work of somebody else or an homage to somebody else's art. And I feel that, since there is already a reception to those kinds of references, I feel it kind of gives us that sense of security, like it's heartwarming every now and then that we feel that, whether it's samples in songs or references in TV shows that we've seen in another TV show. That's something that has always been a key element as to why it works. And I don't blame people for always just eating it up. I think more than ever, it's one of the easiest ways actually to gain that sense of comfort because you already know that it works for you. You know the feeling that it has evoked in the past, and the fact that it's being reused again is a bit of, it's like a callback to a time when things were better. And I think that's beautiful, like you get to be transported back into a time when things were simpler. And I do crave that as well. So whenever I feel like I get to have a media in front of me, I gotta have media in front of me that is a reference to something that I love. Say, for example, if people call out Gilmore Girls, like I immediately feel like, oh shit, that's something that I would want to watch or listen to. Or if people talk about it, then I would want to be a part of that conversation because I know how it makes me feel, and I want more of that. But I think the second part of what I wanted to talk about is how it could become dangerous for creatives. It may not be for some people, to be honest, or it may be applicable. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll go into that later. But I think the concept is that it could be dangerous we let it just if we let it eat us up. If we let it take over just the overall consumption of things, because it could result to a lack of authenticity, lack of forward looking, because we always just keeps on referencing back to things that were from the past, things that have worked already, and we kind of miss the point of creating or even consuming because we need to be fed with ideas that are new, that are progressive, that are not all the time. I mean, I'm not here to be radical or something, but you know what I mean. I think it just has to have like a good balance. Like we have to strike a balance between being able to be inspired by the past, but also making sure that our most authentic creative stories or juices and the way that we receive it also, if you're a consumer, the way that we receive it also somehow just evokes like a new thought, a new idea, something that would make you think of what will happen in the future. You know what I mean? Not just letting you stay in the past, which is dangerous, right? So as I create my songs, like I can't help but be inspired all the time. Like that's just the reality of creating now. Like there's really no way of just not be not not being able to be inspired by the work of the past, because it has been what, how many years since, right? And I feel we've seen that also in the past years with the music industry, with films even and shows. So there really is no way of avoiding it, if you know what I mean. So it's just really more, how do we then work around it, right? I guess recognizing the past, and my third idea, this is going to be my third idea. Recognizing the past is very, very important, because this is where things have started, like some pioneers have really started this thing. And I think it's actually very, very, I think it's actually very, what do you call this? I think it's noble to be able to pay homage to the work of the past, but at the same time, remember to always believe that the the future that was being written by people from years ago is different from the future that we are writing now. If anything, I think their past work should let us be more, or should let us hold more power when it comes to how we write our futures. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's a superpower, even the nostalgia feel that we'll be able to use to kind of propel each other forward. Like, for example, if a musician references previous works of other artists, and I feel like it's best done by Beyonce's Cowboy Carter, where it's not nostalgic. It's not nostalgic, to be honest, what she did. But of course, it is for a lot of people, because she literally wrote an entirely new future for country artists. And the nostalgia factor there definitely would be more how the roots of the banjo and other references have become, symbolic to the work that she's done. And now a new future is there for country artists. Fashion also, like I love how while things have been nostalgic from the early 2000s fashion trends, I feel I am so inspired by how a lot of people are just continuously just upping the ante when it comes to their fashion choices. So they put like some futuristic flavor to their looks, right? So I think the point is that we can never avoid it, but we should not be stuck in it, you know. And we should all be thankful for the work of the past that has worked and that has given us that kind of comfort. But at the end of the day, I think there's still a lot of room for new ideas, new concepts, inspired by the works of the greats, inspired by the things that have given us that sense of security. And I think there's more work to be done when it comes to new voices and new perspectives. And I'm very, very excited about that, especially for young, new creatives. So we could never avoid it. We can never run away from it, because, as more media is being produced year on year, now we are in 2025. It's just really more a matter of, how can I make my perspective be heard? Because your perspective is unique, and I feel it deserves a specific spotlight. So that's it for today's class.